Her wrists were already bandaged, so we don't take the bandages off after they're on.
Okay.
There was no blood.
Good. I asked the questions, you can answer them, okay?
For a jury to hear him talk to this random firefighter like that, probably not helping the situation, right? Like not helping the defense at all. Days 2 through 4 of the Lindsay Clancy murder trial were disturbing. All right, so this is 3 days of the trial in one. I'm still behind a full day. I'm trying to catch up, sorry. But it's just a nightmare. I mean, it's almost hard to even watch, so hit subscribe, let's go.
Did you look at a site for methods on August 23rd, 2022?
I don't believe so.
So as you're leaving, she asked you to make a second or another stop while you're out. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And in response to that request, did you ask her to do something?
I don't remember. Yeah, I told her to text it to me, which she did.
And was that at approximately 5:15 p.m. that she texted PDLX?
Sounds correct.
Your 2 stops then that night were going to be CVS and the 3V restaurant, correct?
Yes.
Where did you go first?
CVS.
And do you remember the route that you took to get there?
Yeah, I went out our driveway, took a right on Winter Street, and then took a left on the main road and went to CVS.
So it's a pretty direct route from your house to CVS?
Yeah.
Why does this footage matter? I mean, I guess they're just trying to establish a timeline, how long he was gone from the house, but...
And that section you head to on the right, is that the pediatric medication section?
Yeah.
And while you're in that section looking for the medication, do you do something?
I called Lindsay.
And why did you call Lindsay?
Oh, he calls her and that's apparently she kills him and answers it after. It's like a 14-second call, I think I remember from yesterday.
What we were looking for wasn't there. The shelves were pretty empty. It was still during COVID.
I'm sorry, what?
It was during COVID, so at first she called back.
Okay. And did you receive a call back from her about a minute later at 5:34 p.m.?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And can you describe that phone call for us?
It was very brief. I just said, I think there's a generic brand, and I said, is this one okay? And she said, yeah, that's fine.
And what was her demeanor during the call?
She was pretty quiet. It sounded like she was busy. I remember hanging up thinking she's probably in the middle of giving baths or something like that.
So it sounded to you like she was in the middle of something?
Yeah.
Were you able to understand her when she spoke to you?
Yeah.
And did she seem to understand what you were saying?
Yes.
State trying to push that she was not in psychosis or whatever, like she was aware of what was happening.
And she didn't seem to have any trouble recalling why you were at CVS or what you were looking for?
That's correct.
And the order that was listed under your name and phone number, correct?
I think Lindsay ordered it.
Right, but do you recall whose name it was under when you picked it up?
I don't recall specifically, but it could have been mine.
When you arrived home,
Oh God, this might get traumatic here.
This is the back of the house and the window where Lindsay jumped out.
and Exhibit 38, is that a more direct view of that
It's one of these windows. It's this one or this one.
back of the house?
Yeah.
And so the window you referenced about Lindsay, is it this upper right top window?
Yeah. Our bedroom.
And did you have some bags with you from CVS and 3V?
Yeah.
Where did you place those?
On the kitchen island.
When you came into the house and you were taking off your boots and putting things down, was there anything you noticed?
Yeah, the house was really quiet.
Is that unusual?
Yeah.
And when you realized it was really quiet, what did you do?
I called out.
And who did you call out to?
Everyone.
Did anyone answer?
No.
After you called out and no one answered, what did you do next?
I think I don't know the order, but I called down in the basement and no one answered. And then I called Lindsay to see if she was home because I looked out and I couldn't see her car, but it's because it was dark and her car's black.
Okay, so when you say you called down to the basement, when you approached the basement door, do you remember if it was open or shut?
It was shut.
So did you open it and yell down?
Yeah.
And there was no response?
Correct.
And showing you a photo here, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the stairway down to the basement level?
Yeah.
And you said you called Lindsay. Was that a phone call?
Yeah.
And was that at approximately 6:09 p.m.?
Yeah.
And did she answer?
No. First, the bathroom. I thought maybe they were taking baths, but there's no one there.
And then where did you go?
The kids' bedrooms.
Was there anyone in the kids' bedrooms?
No.
And then did you go to your bedroom?
Yeah.
And were you able to get into your bedroom right away?
No, the door was locked, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
And when you realized the door was locked, did you have a way to unlock it?
Yeah, the previous owners, when they installed the doorknobs, had these like these keys that they taped to the back of each door. So I got the one from Cora's room, and I started unlocking the knob. I just saw blood everywhere, and the window is open.
And showing you here a photo, is this the bed in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Now, the way the bed is in this photo, kind of pulled away from the wall and slightly askew or at an angle, is that the way it was typically?
No.
And when you left the bedroom that day for the last time prior to coming home later that night, was the bed in that position?
I don't think so. It looked like it was sprayed almost with like a hose, and there was a huge puddle in the middle of the room, and it was sprayed all over pretty much every surface.
And where did you see her?
She was face up in the backyard,
And where in the backyard was she?
at the bottom of the window.
And so, and when you saw Lindsay on the ground there under the window, which direction was her body facing?
Her head was closer to the house. Her feet were away from the house.
Okay. And did you go to her?
Yeah.
And did you observe any injuries?
Yes.
And what did you see?
She had deep cuts on her wrists, and she had a red line across her neck. I wasn't sure what it was at first.
And do you recall that these wounds weren't actively bleeding at the time?
I later learned that I said that on the 911 call.
And when you observed these wounds, is it correct that the 911 operator asked you or instructed you to apply pressure if needed?
I don't recall the whole call, but I believe that's probably true.
Okay. And you didn't at the time feel the need to apply pressure to any of those wounds, correct?
Correct.
Did you say anything to Lindsay when you found her in that state?
Where are my fucking kids?
Yeah, I said, what happened?
And what was her response?
She said, I tried to kill my... I said, where are the kids?
And what was her response?
She said, they're in the basement.
And at that time, she didn't tell you that they needed help or they were in danger or they were injured, correct?
Correct.
And so you mentioned talking to someone on 911. At what point did you call 911?
I don't know the exact time, but it took a few minutes because my phone was switching between Wi-Fi and 911. So I almost just started calling out for the neighbors, but eventually it went through.
Okay. So you had some difficulty connecting, but eventually you connected to the 911 operator?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay on the phone with them while they were sending people to respond?
Yeah.
Is she responding?
She was in and out of consciousness.
Once emergency personnel arrive, what do?
I immediately got up and ran to the basement.
Okay. And do you still have the phone on you? You're still on the 911 call?
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, but I did.
So when you come down those stairs that night, which direction did you go?
I immediately went left.
And when you went left, what did you see?
I saw Cora.
And how did she look?
She had a band around her neck.
And was that an exercise band?
Yeah.
And do you recall whether she was, what position she was in, whether face up or face down?
She's face down.
And when you saw her in that condition, what did you do?
This shit should not have happened, man.
I immediately ran over and tried to take the band off.
Were you able to get the band off?
Yeah.
And do you recall how you got the band off?
I think I untied it.
And when you say untied it, was it in a knot that you had to, put everything down and unknot it, or how was it tied?
I'm not sure I fully remember.
Do you recall describing it previously as when you initially tie your shoes but then don't do the bow?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And was she responsive?
No.
And what did you see or do next?
I saw Callan.
And where was he?
He was next to her.
And how did he appear?
He had a band around his neck.
Sorry?
He had a band around his neck.
And did you remove that as well?
Yeah.
And do you recall what position he was in?
Same as Cora. The left of the couch.
So would that be this area here that I'm pointing to in between the bureau and the couch?
Yeah.
After you removed the band from Callan's neck, what did you do next?
I tried to find Dawson.
And where did you go?
I looked in the bathroom and on the other side of the couch, and then I went to the other side of the basement, and he was in my office.
And when you saw Dawson, what condition was he in?
I knew he was gone.
And did he also have a band around his neck?
Yeah.
And did you remove that band?
Yeah.
And looking at the office here, where was he located within the office?
Just to the left of the door when you went in.
Just in this area here, right inside the door?
Yeah.
Did you try to give her CPR?
Yeah.
At some point in time, do the first responders make their way down to the basement?
Yeah.
And do they take over care of the children?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
They sent me upstairs.
Okay. Did anyone ever tell you not to leave your kids alone with Lindsay?
No.
In January of 2023, did Lindsay ever tell you that she wanted to harm your children?
No.
Did she ever tell you she was going to kill your children?
No.
Did you receive, a few days after this happened, did you receive a phone call from the defendant while she was at Brigham and Women's Hospital?
I think it was like a week or so after, yeah.
And what did the defendant say at that time about what had happened with the children?
She didn't talk about our kids. She talked about what she went through.
And what did she say about what she went through?
She said she heard a man's voice telling her that if she didn't do it now, she would lose her chance or something like that.
And did she also tell you that she had had a moment of psychosis?
I don't recall.
Did she mention the children at all during that call?
I don't think so. I mean, not directly.
Had she ever mentioned psychosis to you before?
No, I didn't know what psychosis was until after this happened.
Did she ever tell you she was hearing a man's voice before?
No.
God, that was brutal. The CVS worker? Is this just from when he went to the store?
She was inquiring if I carried a product in stock.
And what product was that?
It was like a constipation medicine.
Was it Miralax?
Yes.
And approximately how long was this conversation?
A few minutes.
During that conversation, did you have any difficulty understanding the woman?
No, ma'am.
Did she appear to have any difficulty understanding you or the questions that you were asking her?
No, ma'am.
And her voice, did it seem slurred or impaired in any way?
Not at all. It's a very normal interaction.
I was just going to ask, was there anything out of the ordinary about the conversation?
No.
All right, cross-examination on Patrick.
I think she started in 2014,
Do you remember when she graduated from nursing school?
6 months earlier.
And were you guys in a relationship then?
We were, yeah.
And had you started living together in Southie?
What an amazing shot of this guy's scalp here.
Before that?
Not in Southie. We didn't live together in Southie. We lived together in Quincy.
Quincy.
He just stepped in front of the way of the camera. The camera guy's like, what do I do?
The most. How did she like being a nurse?
She loved it. I think it was her dream.
Did you say that she enjoyed her work and helping people?
Definitely, yeah.
So there's been some commentary here from the government about that she was anxious because she had to go back to work, or she didn't want to go to work, she's lazy, or whatever the case may be.
Objection.
This is sustained. If you could rephrase that.
I did kind of feel like the state was saying she was lazy, that we went back to work yesterday.
She struggled to be away from our kids at a young age.
Do you, in the years that you lived with Lindsay as boyfriend and girlfriend, fiancés, and then ultimately husband and wife, do you recognize her handwriting?
I haven't seen it in a long time, but so I'm not sure.
Well, counsel's looking at that. Is it your understanding, would she take notes or lists and
Yeah.
for work and home and things of that nature?
You would, yeah. Yeah, that looks like her handwriting.
Remember, this guy's suing a lot of people over this, like the medical providers or whatever.
And is that the reason you guys named Cora?
It was, yeah.
Damn, so it looks like her first delivery as a nurse or whatever. The baby name was Cora, and it looks like she marked down every single one she was a part of.
What kind of a mother was she?
She was very dedicated. She did everything. She started reading the books at 3 months, and she made up songs for them. I remember she used to make green eggs and ham for Cora because she liked that book.
Is that one of the Dr. Seuss books?
Yeah. She brought them to music classes.
You're quite the musician yourself, isn't that right?
I play a few instruments, yeah.
You play guitar?
Yep.
One of the things that appears to be striking is that almost every room, other than maybe a bed, well, actually a bedroom, but was dedicated to children. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like you didn't have a fancy dining room, right?
We did not, no.
What did you have in the dining room?
We had the table that I grew up with.
Right, it's got an alphabet, A, B, C, D, things of that nature, correct? Same thing, you recognize this photograph as well being another portion of that wall?
Yeah.
Of time, Your Honor, I would just say, you also identified this as being one of the kids' walls. Would that be what you were telling us would be art projects?
Yeah.
Saying newborn, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then hanging that on the wall?
Yeah, she did it for each kid.
And which child was that?
That one's Dawson.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's evidence that she loved her children, but she also strangled them. I don't even know what to say.
This, for example, would be July of 2018.
Yep.
Can you tell the jurors who that would be?
That's Cora.
Moving forward, say June of 2021. Can you tell us who that?
That's Cora and Dawson.
Okay. Again, the end of July 2021.
That's us with Cora and Dawson.
August 2021.
Dawson.
Okay.
This must be like torture for this guy. I'll be honest, I couldn't do no shit like this. I would have got her ass out of the house the second she said she would hurt the kids.
It's Cora and Dawson.
Was that first day of preschool?
Yeah. That's Lindsay and Cora.
And was that some kind of like a family fun day, if you recall, where there was like lots of things for kids to get in?
Yeah.
Callie?
No, that's Dawson.
Dawson, okay, September 21. And it was on December 2nd, the date the DA was suggesting you were in Boston having massages and dinner, right?
Objection, that was December 3rd.
All right.
Well, the jury's memory.
Yeah, if you can answer that.
Wait, did he get the dates wrong? I think the defense lawyer got the date wrong.
October of 2022.
Lindsay's mental health started to deteriorate.
And when you say that, sir, what is it that you, as her husband, observed?
Just increased stress and anxiety.
And did she, as a result of that, go to see or reach out for help to see someone?
Yes,
And who was that?
I believe it was Jennifer Tufts.
Now, Jennifer Tufts is a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
And where is she located?
I never went to her office. Somewhere on the South Shore.
Do you remember when Lindsay went to see Jennifer Tufts?
I don't remember the exact date. I think it was sometime in September. I wasn't really involved at the beginning of Jennifer Tufts.
Of course.
Remember, this defense lawyer wants to try to show the jury that she was in psychosis. That's his goal.
But do you remember when the DA asked you yesterday whether or not you used your computer to Google in, I think it was August of 22. Do you remember her asking you that question?
Yes.
And do you remember your response?
No, honestly.
You didn't Google that, did you?
I don't think I did, no.
No. So, while that's being marked Exhibit E for ID, basically, that would at least refresh your memory, sir, that, in fact, inadvertently, that you touched the Wikipedia thing for side, but it was for Tom Hall, the singer, right?
Sounds like that was the case.
Okay.
She started with Zoloft.
Now, counsel had asked you about whether or not Lindsay was on Zoloft or any SSRI antidepressant medication in the past. Do you remember that question?
Yeah.
Do you remember her asking about that you were having a conversation with her and she said that she was going on Zoloft and that she had already been to Tufts, or was it Tufts that she got the script from?
Correct.
Okay. She told you that, right?
Yeah.
She didn't hide that from you, right?
No.
And it was, you were at a wedding. Is that right? You're walking down the street, the two of you together, like at the end of the night, and she basically told you that she had to use the meds.
It was earlier in the day. It was before the wedding, but yeah.
Okay. To your observation, how dedicated was she to taking her medications as instructed by the numerous doctors that she ultimately saw?
She always took them as instructed.
Do you remember, did she in fact have a diary that she kept of the milligrams, the type of medication, the date that she took the medication, and what, if any, reactions that she had to it? Do you recall that?
Yeah.
And do you remember where that was kept? Did she keep it in any particular place?
I think she kept it in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, it says good moms have scary thoughts. Most of the meetings were Zoom. The only in-person that I'm aware of was with Rebecca Gelada.
Rebecca Gelada. Okay, and that was because you insisted on it, right?
I thought it was warranted at that time, yeah.
Right, because you were pretty much at your wit's end with the 15-minute Zooms, and you wanted to sit down eyeball to eyeball and talk to this person, right?
I hadn't attended any prior to that. I just wanted to get clarification. I wanted to see if we could get on the same page.
All right. So now, Lindsay's on Zoloft from Dr. Tufts, the psychiatrist, correct?
Correct.
And then that runs into when she goes to see Nurse Paul.
Can you clarify?
What was it?
Can you clarify what you're asking?
Yeah, what month? When was it that she saw Nurse Paul?
Maybe October, but I'm not sure. Yeah, and I mean, she may have only seen her once. It was very brief, and then she got reassigned somewhere, so.
And the reason, if you know, that she got reassigned somewhere would be nurse practitioner Gelada, right?
Right.
Same practice, right?
Right.
And the reason was because Paul moved on to another job, right?
Right.
So Lindsay wasn't out doctor hunting. She was referred by the nurse practitioner that was referred to you guys by your mom because Paul was leaving, right?
Yeah, she just switched doctors in the same practice.
All right. Now she sees Dr. Gelada, right?
Right.
Did Dr. Gelada, to your knowledge, put her on medication?
Yeah.
And what was the medication, if you know?
Mainly Seroquel and benzodiazepines, Ativan.
No, benzodiazepines. They're addictive, right?
Apparently.
This lady was on a concoction.
And a benzo would be, for example, Ativan, correct?
Correct.
Now, Seroquel, she was placed on Seroquel as well. Is that correct?
Right.
And to your observation, again, you're not a doctor, what you saw of your wife, was she affected positively or negatively by the Seroquel that she was on?
It appeared that she was affected very negatively, and she's reporting that that she was getting worse on the Seroquel.
And do you know, did she report that to Dr. Gelada?
Yeah.
When she would consult with Dr. Gelada, prior to you actually going, do you know, were they all on video? If you know.
I believe, yeah, they were all on Zoom.
Okay. Do you have any opinion for the jury as to approximately how long these meetings on Zoom would be with the nurse practitioner?
Probably around 20 minutes.
At some point, do you recall that you went with Lindsay to see Dr. Gelada? Is that right?
Yes.
And do you remember, if you remember, when that was?
Early December.
In early December of 2022, can you tell the jury from your observations, how did Lindsay appear? How was she acting? How was she faring?
She was extremely sleep deprived and just highly anxious.
Was there a number of occasions that you would actually see her on the sofa, rocking back and forth with her head under a pillow?
Yeah.
Did you report that and other symptoms to Dr. Gelada?
Lindsay did.
So when was it, if you recall, that you went and saw Dr. Gelada with your wife, person to person?
When was it?
Yep.
Early December. I think it was December 6th.
And do you remember, you have a pretty good memory about this, do you remember what medication she was prescribed by Gelada?
Coming out of that meeting.
Yep.
Yeah, she increased the Seroquel significantly. And then she prescribed her Valium to help taper off of the benzos.
Taper off the benzos?
Yep. She definitely didn't want to take any more benzodiazepines and definitely didn't want to take any more Seroquel. I think that it wasn't really a matter of trying to get off the medication. It was just trying to get on the right medication.
Let's say mid-December, what observations, if any, heading up towards Christmas?
She seemed to get worse. The Seroquel was increased to 400 milligrams.
400?
Yep. And,
By Dr. Gelada?
Yeah. And the idea behind that was it would help with sleep.
Did Lindsay's mother and father actually stay there and sleep in the basement for
They did, yeah.
time? Were you aware, personally, let me back up, you and Lindsay, as husband and wife, would in effect sleep in the same bedroom, is that correct?
Yeah.
There was an occasion, though, that she said to you about you go downstairs, and then I think she ended up downstairs?
Yeah, for the purposes of her getting better sleep.
And for her purposes of getting better sleep, were you aware that on one occasion she used a gummy, a sleep aid gummy? Did you know that?
I don't recall that, but we did have them in the house.
Okay.
Hold on. The state yesterday said it was a weed gummy. He's saying it's a sleep aid. So was it CBD? Was there THC in this? If there was THC in it, it was a terrible fucking decision.
And used the CBDs, oils, and all that stuff, or did she not imbibe in that?
No, she didn't smoke.
So you had these gummies in the house, sleep aid, right?
I mean, some people might call them a sleep aid.
Okay. As time went by, do you recall that she would actually continue to take notes of her medications that she was taking, right?
That sounds like something Lindsay would do.
Kept a diary or a little log, right?
Yep.
Interesting. Let's see what she noted down. The state was trying to say she only took a few pills or whatever.
It's the dosage of medication that she took and how she's feeling.
So this is kind of like a little medical diary that she was keeping.
Yeah.
For example, here you see on that 5 milligrams Valium, 200 Seroquel, slept well, horrible thoughts in the morning, right?
Yeah.
In the presence of her mother, that she was having horrible thoughts, right?
Right.
And you told us about that yesterday. And it was quite an emotional thing for her to do that, right?
Right.
After that time frame, you continued on. You were working in the basement, right?
Yeah.
I shouldn't say basement. It was a finished place,
Finished
right?
basement, yeah.
And that was where you worked on a regular basis. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would that be a 40-hour week or longer?
It varied, but yeah, roughly 40 hours.
So for 2 days, 2 nights, a month and a week or so before she killed the children, she was home with the kids for 2 days. Is that right?
Right.
Fair to say that you also had your friends that you would do brunch with on occasion, Sundays or weeknights or whenever, guys night type thing?
Yep.
And you'd be out with your friends. If she wanted to kill the kids, she certainly could have done it that time when you're out, right?
In theory.
This trial was insane. He said in theory.
As opposed to sending you on a 3-minute trip to CVS and a 9-minute trip to a restaurant, you were away for 2 days in November and on a number of occasions for brunch, as well as skiing, right? You're a pretty active guy.
Yeah.
Right? And postpartum anxiety workbook. Did she have workbooks that you were aware of? Or work diagrams and things like that?
She had books of different sorts.
This is a lot of prescriptions. And look at the date. I mean, it starts, these are all late 2022, actually, and early 23. Dude, these are within like 3 months.
The reason I had them in a bag is because sometimes a provider would adjust medications. So, for example, I do remember Lindsay had a prescription of Ativan, and then a few days later they wanted to increase the dosage because it wasn't effective. So what they would do is they would say, give that old prescription to your husband, he'll discard it, and then continue taking from the new prescription.
When the DA yesterday went through that there were scripts and there were pills with a 30 count, but then there's 27 and 3 were gone, but that's because she wasn't taking her medication. That's not the case. It was what you were told to do, right?
Correct. Yeah. Without that context, it paints a different picture.
Damn.
And then you, to be cooperative, told the police that you also had pills in your car, and you went to the DA's office and gave them to Attorney Sprague and the state police, right?
Right, but to be clear, those were discontinued prescriptions.
These are the ones like that she stopped.
Correct.
All right.
That's the drawer that goes into the nightstand.
Prescribed on January 5, 23. Creatinine.
Defense lawyer trying to show that they didn't give over all her medications to the police.
Creatinine, 100 milligrams, prescribed for Lindsay Clancy, December 21st. Lorazepam, they're all empty too, right?
Yeah.
Because these are what she shot down with that lemonade or water or whatever was in the cup that she ground up these pills, right? Lamotrigine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, December 16th, 22. Mirtazapine, prescribed to Lindsay Clancy, January 23.
It's really slamming these pill bottles down.
There's something else that was in the drawer. Do you recognize that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's her Apple Watch.
Her Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch that apparently the police used to go up the stairs, downstairs, heart rate, things of that nature, right?
Yep.
They never even seized it, did they? They left it in the drawer, right?
Apparently.
What is this item, sir? If you can identify that for us.
Stuff just fell over and he just didn't acknowledge it and let the guy pick it up. Jesus.
It's a face mask for sleeping.
To sleep?
Yeah.
Now, you had mentioned something, I think, about pillow spray. What is that?
She bought some pillow spray. It apparently helps you sleep.
Because you can see everything from the Apple Watch on someone's iPhone. Like the Apple Watch, like this is my Apple Watch. All my data's on here. Shows my average heart rate. I just woke up. That's why I have 300 steps. All right, chill out. That's my weekly step count. All right, chill out. Don't fry me.
You ever see her writing notes in a diary or like a thing with dates on it, November 23rd, for example, things of that nature?
I knew she kept notes, but I didn't see her doing it. Looks like a schedule for Callan.
Should it schedule down to the exact time? Is that common for moms to have that? Like his eating, naps, and everything?
Last fed with a time frame, and then there's a bunch of pages like that that go forward on those dates. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Put them down for a nap, 9:35 with a smiley face, things like that, right?
Right.
Now, in cross-examination, you said that Lindsay always took the medications exactly as instructed.
Mm-hmm.
But in direct, you said you weren't always with her every time she took the pills. Is that correct?
That's correct, but the understanding was that she took it as directed.
Because she told you she did?
Yeah.
And because you trusted her to do so?
Yeah.
Okay. But you can't sit here and say definitively that she took every pill exactly as instructed every single time because you didn't watch her every time, correct?
I was not standing next to her every time she took pills.
Okay. Is there any reason why you would have been going in and logging on to Lindsay's Facebook account while going on Wikipedia and looking at suicide methods all in that same 5 minutes?
I didn't log into Lindsay's Facebook ever. It's very possible that I looked at Tom Hall's Wikipedia page, but...
At some point?
Yeah.
Do you remember spending 3 minutes on the methods of site, scrolling through and reading the methods of site for 3 minutes?
No, I don't remember something I did for 3 minutes almost 4 years ago.
Do you remember being on that site, the methods of site, and clicking on a link to a bridge in Australia that people use to commit suicide?
No.
No.
I haven't recorded in like 3 days for this trial, so I kind of forgot some shit. What I think is happening here is it was actually Lindsay that was looking at all this shit, the methods of unaliving yourself.
And so people were seeing her and interacting with her and changing the way her stay went at McLean Hospital throughout her stay.
Yeah, she recommended Cymbalta, but she wasn't the one who prescribed that.
In fact, no one prescribed that, correct?
Because it ended up switching to amitriptyline.
And the amitriptyline was prescribed by Dr. Jennifer Tufts, correct?
Right.
So I think what the state's doing here is that she was just getting multiple medications from different doctors and not following instructions.
I believe so, yeah.
And all the medications that she had taken prior to going to McLean, she was no longer on. Those were gone, correct? Once she had been in McLean.
I don't know if it was, I'm not sure. I don't know if it was all of them.
Well, did you have conversations with your wife about what she was taking? I mean, were you aware that she was only on only prescribed trazodone and Ativan when she left McLean, and then amitriptyline was only added on the 16th? So just those 3 medications?
Yeah, but I thought she was taking trazodone before McLean.
Right. So she had been prescribed it before and stopped taking it, correct?
I don't remember. I'd have to look back on records.
So you're not sure about what she was taking and when, are you?
Not the exact dates, but I remember she was taking trazodone, and I thought she was taking it before McLean.
So the best resource of what she was prescribed and when would most likely be the doctors and the CVS records then, correct?
The CVS records is a good resource.
Okay. And
I see what they did there.
you talked about the pills and how these were pills that she was no longer on, so it wasn't really a good representation of what she had taken, correct?
Correct.
But she was only prescribed Zoloft once, right? At the very beginning?
Right.
And she only took 7 of those pills, correct?
Right.
So it wasn't as if she was prescribed a higher dose or a different dose of Zoloft and was still taking that, and so that 7 pills misrepresents the Zoloft she took, right?
I believe she switched because, or she stopped because she was switched to Prozac.
Okay. And then even going forward, the Prozac, there weren't many pills taken out of that either, correct?
Yeah, eventually she stopped that as well.
Okay. So she'd take a few pills, she'd have some side effects, they'd switch the medication, correct?
Yes.
And so they were trying to figure out what would work for her, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she ends up at McLean because she's having difficulties, according to her, with the Seroquel, correct?
That was part of it, yeah.
And they wean her off of that, right?
Yep.
And then after McLean, she's only on the trazodone, the Ativan, and then on the 16th, adding in the amitriptyline, correct?
Right.
You mentioned that you went to New York in November of 2022. Defense counsel said that was a month before the children were killed, but that's actually 2 months before they were killed, correct?
It was, it was about a little more than 2 months.
And so during your trip to New York, and then immediately after your trip to San Francisco with Cora, were there any issues or any problems, or did anything happen while Lindsay was caring for those kids?
Nothing bad happened. She was, I would say her anxiety and depression was starting to tick up, but yeah, obviously nothing bad happened.
Okay. And it's your testimony that things started to get worse in December. Is that correct?
Correct.
But it was also your testimony that after the stay at McLean, things got better, wasn't it? And she steadily progressed throughout January, getting better, right?
Definitely, yeah.
And on January 24th, 2023, you testified that that was one of her best days.
Yeah.
So the state is saying, well, why was she getting better and she was acting fine and then she killed your children? She did it on purpose. She wasn't in psychosis.
You were asked about the Apple Watch. The police didn't collect the Apple Watch, right? They did collect her phone, correct? You identified it earlier, right?
Correct, yeah.
And her Apple Watch was linked to her phone, was it not?
It probably was, yeah.
What did I say?
And so, for example, on Tuesday, September 4th, she wrote, last fed at 6 a.m., give him a bottle whenever he wakes up. He likes it very warm. He's been resisting the bottle. If he won't drink it, after 45 minutes of trying, please text me to let me know. Put down for next nap 1 hour after he wakes. Try to put down drowsy but awake. But if he cries, pick him up and rock, bounce, or hold him until sleep, then put down. He usually sleeps 45 minutes, but let him sleep as long as he wants. These are very detailed notes that Lindsay is
Oh, it's very detailed.
sending to the nanny, correct?
Yeah.
And then she also wrote, if you have time, wash and cut up veggies, sweet potatoes, 1-inch cubes peeled, broccoli, small pieces, peppers, 1-inch pieces, plastic Ziploc bags to put them in. Next bottle, 2.5 hours after the first bottle, correct?
I believe what you're reading, yeah.
So very particular about what she wanted the nanny to do, how she wanted her to do it, and when to feed Callan, when to put him down for a nap, all of those things. Very particular, correct?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Again, Thursday, September 29th, 2022. Callan last fed at 8:45. Please put him down for a nap at 9:35. We will be home from gymnastics at 11:45. Clean clothes and dryer if you get to it. So again, very specific times for putting him down and when to get up and asking her to do additional work like laundry and things like that, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about all the cops I had to see these dead kids everywhere.
And being on patrol, were you alone or with a partner?
I was alone.
And who was on the ground?
Miss Clancy.
Where was she positioned?
She was on the ground if you were looking at the backyard on the right side.
You can tell how nervous these cops are, dude. Well, not nervous, but emotional.
Was she conscious?
Semi-conscious, in and out of consciousness.
And what was she doing that gave you that indication?
She would wake up and move around and then...
When you entered into the kitchen, could you still hear that screaming?
no. We could hear he was talking, but there was screaming was done.
When you said he was talking, who was talking?
Patrick Clancy.
So you could hear Patrick Clancy talking at that time?
Yes.
And could you tell where he was?
Yes, he was in the basement.
And did you head to the basement stairs?
Yes,
Did you go to the bottom of the stairs?
I did.
Once you got to the bottom of the stairs, is it accurate that you either have to go right or left?
Correct.
Which direction did you go?
We heard Patrick Clancy talking from the right, so we went in that direction.
Could you hear what he was saying?
God. Do you mind if I?
You don't recall?
Yes.
I have no objection to that. We need to re-vote on that one with this report.
Do you recall him saying, I can't wake them up, I can't get them up?
Yes.
And do you remember his demeanor as he was saying that?
He seemed very upset.
What did you do in response to that?
He came from a back room, so we ran into that back room. Just past the door on the left side, there was a body of a young child.
And do you remember what position the child was in?
He had his feet towards the door and his head towards the wall.
And was he on his back or his stomach? Or...
He was on his back.
And do you recall what he was wearing?
He was shirtless. I believe he was just in a diaper or underwear of some sort.
Sir, did you later learn that child's name was Dawson Clancy?
I did.
And can you describe his physical appearance when you saw him?
He was discolored, like a bluish purple.
Do you remember what his face and neck looked like?
No.
What happened next?
I called for paramedics to come to the basement. I also called for a supervisor, and Officer Josephine picked up the child, and we ran him outside through the front door to the ambulance.
They don't need to lay a foundation. I agree to the photographs, no objection to any of them, so we don't have to go through all the foundations.
All right.
Defense lawyer trying to speed through this section as much as possible. To all these witnesses had to see these kids, man.
There were 2 children on the floor, motionless, and EMTs and paramedics were working on them.
And did you later learn that those children were Cora Clancy and Callan Clancy?
Yes.
Did you do anything to assist the medics at that time?
Excuse me. I asked if they needed any equipment.
And did they ask you to get some equipment?
They asked me to grab a heart monitor.
And did you do that?
I went and found the fire captain.
I work at the Duxbury Police Department.
How long have you been a police officer?
I started there in,
And could you hear any sounds coming from the basement as you entered the kitchen?
yes, it was the exact screaming that I heard from the window.
And did you go down the stairs to the basement?
Yes, we did.
And did you see anything as you went down the stair after you went down the stairs?
So we went down the stairs, and there was a picture at the bottom of the stairs, I believe, of Lindsay and Patrick. And the basement splits off into 2, a right and a left area. And the screams were coming from the right area, so that's where we directed our attention to first.
Okay. And did you see Patrick?
Yes, that right side opens up, and it's like 2 rooms, I believe. So we went into the first room, which was kind of dark, and there was some cluttered stuff around, and Patrick was in that back room at the time.
Do you recall what, if anything, Patrick was saying as you encountered him?
Upon his observation of us, myself and Officer Hall, he proceeded to head in our direction, leaving that room. And at that point, he looked up and he screamed, "She killed the fucking kids."
And after he said that, where did you go?
Once he cleared himself from the door frame, we were able to look inside the room where we observed what appeared to be a child laying motionless on the floor.
And did you later learn his name was Dawson Clancy?
Yes, I did.
And how was he positioned?
He was laying on his back, kind of close to the gym bag for reference of that. Like I said, he was laying on his back. His head was tilted to the right-hand side. Looked at him kind of in the face area once we got closer, and his face was white, gray, lips were blue, eyes were bloodshot, looked like blood vessels were popped in his eyes.
Did you notice any injuries to his neck?
Seeing that, my first instinct was to kind of grab his head and tilt it to the side, see if I can get a pulse, but I mean, based on my training experience from previous incidents, I knew it wasn't going to be good, so I moved the head. That's where I observed some red marks on that right-hand side.
And in that exhibit, 94, there was a yellow exercise band, correct?
Yes.
I believe in prior testimony, you may have called it a blue exercise band. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it's clearly yellow in the photo, right?
Yes, it's clearly yellow. I mean, there was
Testing the color of the exercise band. Yes.
Right, good.
So what was your focus at the time?
the child.
And once you saw him there with these injuries, what did you do?
Based on my observations, I knew there wasn't really much I could do. So I picked the child up, went chest to chest, and as I did that, it was kind of like a mucus or a foam that leaked out of his mouth onto me. I grabbed him, went back towards the way we came down into the basement, and I headed up to the stairs where Sergeant Homestead was coming down the stairs, and I started yelling to him to get out of the way. went back up the stairs, and then into the kitchen directly adjacent to the stairs. There's the front foyer, like hallway, and I went out the main door into the driveway.
And was there an ambulance in the driveway at that time?
Yes, the ambulance was backing up and had pretty much just parked, and one of the fire was walking around to the stretcher out back. So I rushed over with Dawson, and I put him on the stretcher, and that's when Sergeant Homestead and fire personnel started working further on him. An older female laying on the ground, and then in the corner, there was like a younger baby.
And when you say an older female, you're referring to that she was older than Dawson?
That's correct. So when I got down to the basement, 2 fire personnel were already on scene. One was working on the baby, and one was working on Cora. Communicated with them. We worked together, and I took over doing chest compressions of Cora.
And were you able to see any injuries on Cora at that time?
Yes. She had kind of the same injuries that I explained with Dawson. The pale tint, bluish lips, bloodshot eyes, blood vessels popped. But this time she also had like dried blood around her mouth.
And did you also see an area of blood near her on the floor?
Yes, there was a relatively large area of blood on the floor. Actually, when doing CPR on her, I heard her beside her, and that blood seeped through my pants, so I ended up moving her a little off to the side so I could position myself better.
So that entire time while you're in the basement, are you still giving chest compressions to Cora?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it felt like forever, to the point where I think I radioed for assistance for another officer to come down.
And did others come down to assist?
Yes, Officer Cahill came down to further assist, where I continued with chest compressions, and he used a bag valve mask to give rescue breaths.
And a bag valve mask, is that something that goes over someone's face, a mask that's attached to a bag and you squeeze it to give air?
Yes, it's an alternative breathing apparatus.
At some point, do you go back upstairs to the first floor?
Yes.
And do you encounter Patrick Clancy when you go upstairs?
Yeah, so when they removed Cora, myself and Officer Cahill went back upstairs, where I encountered Mr. Clancy in the kitchen.
And what was his demeanor in the kitchen?
He was still frantic, kind of in shock, still screaming and losing himself. And I think at that point, I don't know, one of us requested that we get an ambulance for him as well.
I heard a scream.
Okay. And when you heard the scream, could you tell where it was coming from?
It sounded like it was coming from the basement. The head was towards the window, so the head was towards the back of the house, and he picked the child up, and he was in a circular motion, taking something off the head, around the neck.
And could you see the child's face?
Yes.
And what observations did you make of the child's face?
The head was blue.
And did you later learn that child was Dawson Clancy?
Yes.
At that point, what did you do?
Because of the severity of Miss Clancy on the ground, and now we have another patient, I put a all call in, which is a recall of Duxbury personnel, all Duxbury personnel, if they're available, to come back to the town to help out for when I need help on the scene. And I also need help in the town to cover the town while I'm busy at this scene. And I also requested a mutual aid ambulance. Busy with calls, we have to call help in from surrounding towns to give us a hand, whether it be fire related or medical related.
Does Duxbury only have one ambulance?
We have 3.
3, but you only had one staff that night?
Yes.
This is a small town. They have 3 ambulances, but only one on duty.
Yes.
What did you see?
One of the police officers was carrying a child.
And so what did you do when you saw him carrying the child out of the house?
So at that point, the stretcher was almost out of the vehicle, and I said, over here, and he placed him on the stretcher.
Were you able to make observations of the child as he's being placed on the stretcher?
I was.
What did he look like?
So his face was blue, he had marks around his neck, and his body was pale.
And so once the officer, or first off, was the officer somebody you knew from Duxbury?
Correct. It was Officer Homestead.
Okay. And once the child was placed on the stretcher, what did you do after you made that initial observations of him?
So we rolled it right inside so we could start doing CPR.
What did you see when you came to the back of that ambulance?
I saw an officer, Sergeant Homestead, and Kevin Heath doing CPR on a child.
Had you seen how the child ended up in the ambulance, or did you come after?
I came after.
Initial observation of the patient, what did he look like?
Blue, white, non-responsive, not breathing, no pulse.
So what do you do with the manual drill to enter the IO?
You just twist, and then it goes into the bone.
And what bone do you attempt to do this in? And were you able to
Bro, this shit keeps glitching, this stream, by the way.
that IO into Dawson for the purpose of epinephrine?
Basically, kind of helps to restart the heart.
And at this point, he had no heart activity?
Correct.
You also mentioned attempts to intubate. Can you tell us what that means?
So intubation is an advanced airway where you put a tube into the airway to secure it to deliver high flow oxygen.
And how long have you been a Duxbury firefighter?
12 years.
Are you also a paramedic?
Yes.
And how long have you been a paramedic?
About 13. We took a left and we saw Callan and Cora face up on the ground.
And when you saw them, what did you do?
I immediately jumped on the radio to ask for 2 additional ambulances that we needed more help, and Patrick ran to Cora and I went to Callan.
This has been an hour and 30 minutes of, it's just a lot. It's just depressing. I don't even know what to say.
And did you notice anything about her wrists at that time?
Yes, her wrists were bandaged previously, assuming some kind of injury. There was no active bleeding or anything through the bandage. It was just, but her wrists were bandaged.
Was it white bandaging?
Yes.
And so nothing was seeping through to your eye? Did you see anything on her neck area?
She had some superficial lacerations that we could see around the collar, but we don't typically remove equipment after it's already been placed. So I didn't investigate any further than that. There was no active bleeding that I could see, so we just left it alone.
So there was, even with the collar, there was nothing, no blood flowing out of the collar or pooling around her or anything like that?
Correct.
When you got to the ambulance, what was your role?
I was the tech in charge, so we did as much of an assessment as we could without removing her from the board to look for any further injuries. Other than the injuries that the Duxbury Fire Department had already found, we didn't find any further injuries. Their respirations will go up, their pupils will get a little bigger, sometimes they fully wake up.
We know who they are, who's referred to.
The patient.
And you were referring to patients that you've dealt with in the past in your role as a paramedic, is
That's
that correct?
correct, yes.
Defense lawyer just kind of butted in there. That was weird.
No other questions?
So you're not trained in Narcan on benzodiazepines, is that correct?
Yeah, we don't give it for benzodiazepines.
And in any event, when you gave Narcan to the body that was laying on the ground, and she had already been wrapped up on her wrist, right?
That's correct.
Already been wrapped up, had the thing on the neck to prevent the head from moving, right?
That's correct.
And also had bandages perhaps on her neck area, I'm not sure.
There were no bandages that I could see because
Just
the
the neck
collar
thing.
blocks. Yeah, most of it I could see. There are some holes in the collar that we could see some superficial lacerations through,
Right.
but there was no active bleeding. Her wrists were already bandaged, so we don't take the bandages off after they're on. And
Okay.
there was no blood
That's good.
through.
I asked the questions, you can answer them, okay? Narcan administered to Lindsay Clancy on the ground, yes?
In the ambulance, but yes.
And there was no reaction. It didn't have any effect on her, right?
She appeared to become a little bit more, she started like reaching and grabbing a little bit more than she was before.
That's consistent as well with a person who's had a head injury, right?
Could be.
Yeah. So in any event, the Narcan that you're trained would be dealing with opioids, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, did you know, sir?
The entire YouTube chat is like, this lawyer's a jerk. That was rude. Like, for a jury to hear him talk to this random firefighter like that, probably not helping the situation, right? Like, not helping the defense at all.
Cervical spine, did you know that, sir?
No.
T5 through T6, T4, 6, 7, 8, all exploded, fractured. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that there was hemorrhaging into her body, that she fractured every rib in her body?
No.
It was pretty dark out there, wasn't it?
It was.
Obviously, administer aid to her. Or did you also have like a flashlight on your head? Were you holding a flashlight or what?
She was already packaged. She was already on the longboard and everything. So we picked her up, put her on the stretcher, and moved out of the backyard into the ambulance.
So how long did you handle, if you will, her while she was laying there?
On scene, we were only on scene for, I think it was 7 minutes, I think, total on scene from the time that we.
Chaotic?
Yes.
And it was dark in the backyard, right?
Yes.
There was no exterior lighting, nothing on the house that was lit up, like spotlights or anything, right?
That's correct.
No flashlights, right?
No.
And you scrutinized a hole in the thing that goes around the neck when someone has a head injury, especially a cervical injury, thoracic injuries. You scrutinized a hole that noted that there was a superficial wound to her neck.
That's all we could see through the side of the collar.
Who's we?
Me and my partner.
Was your partner scrutinizing the hole as well?
The whole, I don't
You
know.
said there's a hole in that, in the thing that goes around the neck.
Yeah, there's holes in the collar that you can see through.
Right, and you were scrutinizing. You were looking through it, right?
Yeah.
You told the jury you saw
Yes.
superficial cut of the neck, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did your partner look through the hole as well?
So he's very mad that this firefighter described her neck wound as superficial, which obviously means not very deep.
One of the things that they asked you was whether or not it appeared as though the injuries to her neck or wrist were superficial. Isn't that right?
Yes.
And other than looking through the little hole in the thing around her neck in the dark, you didn't see her neck after that was removed, did you?
No.
That's all you have.
Sir, after the 7 minutes that you were in the dark backyard, you were then in an ambulance for 18 minutes with the patient, correct?
That's correct.
And there's lighting in the ambulance, correct?
There is.
And during those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood seeping through the bandages on her wrists?
No.
During those 18 minutes in the well-lit ambulance, did you ever see blood pooling around her neck or flowing from the neck?
No.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further?
No.
Defense lawyer just looked like a bully to this random firefighter about her wound. Who cares? Holy shit.
She had lacerations to both wrists as well as her neck.
And were those lacerations actively bleeding?
No.
Can you describe the lacerations that you saw on her neck?
There was dry blood, seemed to be somewhat superficial since there was no active bleed.
And what about the cuts on her wrists?
Same.
So the state is downplaying her injuries, which, I mean, it sounds like they were superficial. She is in a wheelchair, but...
Do you know on that evening what the temperature was outside?
It was cold.
Wicked cold, wasn't it?
Mid-30s.
It was lower than that, wasn't it?
I couldn't, it was a
It
couple.
was really cold.
Yeah.
And how long was she laying in the snow and on the ground?
We got the call at 6-ish or whatever time it was. We
And the call
responded.
came because her husband came home from picking up food and found her on the ground, right?
Correct.
So you don't know how long she was laying in the snow on the ground, right?
No.
In the cold?
Correct.
And what's hemostasis? Do you know?
What's that?
What's hemostasis? What does that mean?
Just the coagulation.
And you know what the effect of hypothermia? Let me ask you, what's hypothermia?
It's just the body under temperature of the body.
Under temperature of the body?
Or your body is not at temperature that it should be.
Right, because of the environment, right? Cold, right?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes it can be medically induced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothermia affects the blood flow, doesn't it?
Yes.
In fact, you actually have a thing called therapeutic hypothermia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they have to restrict the blood flow to either a heart or a brain or something, that a person can be induced medically to be cold,
Yes.
and it would restrict blood flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all these questions about whether or not there's blood seeping through the wrist bandages and whether or not there's blood through the holes on the neck brace, you don't know what effect the hypothermia, if any, had on that, would you?
No.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
Redirect?
Sir, there's typically heat in a hospital, correct?
Usually, yes.
And were you aware that, Ms. Clancy went to South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yes.
And are you aware that the wounds on her wrist did not have to be sutured until the following day?
I didn't get any of that information after.
Were you aware that the wound on her neck never had to be sutured?
Same answer.
Thank you.
State is kind of shitting on the defense here. Apparently the state has run out of witnesses for the day, and it was only 3 hours.
So how long have you been at Duxbury Police?
9 years.
9?
Yes.
What's your current rank or assignment at the Duxbury Police Department?
Detective.
Were you working on January 24th of 2023?
I was not. I was called into work.
Okay, so who contacted you?
At the time, it was Detective Sergeant Jamali.
Now, when you went to South Shore Hospital, did you know the party that was going to be transported there?
Yes.
Who was the party that you were going to meet?
I was advised it was one of the homeowners, Lindsay Clancy.
So when you were at the South Shore Hospital, did you have an opportunity to observe Lindsay Clancy?
I did.
In what condition was she when you observed her at South Shore Hospital?
She appeared sedated and unconscious with several lacerations to her arms and neck.
Okay.
They showed pictures of her wounds, and they definitely are superficial. I saw them, but I can't show them.
At South Shore Hospital, did you do anything to collect potential evidence that day?
I did.
And what did you do?
I gathered, I believe they had been removed from the hospital staff, clothing, pants, shirt, I believe it was a scarf, and wedding bands.
Okay. When your department has somebody in custody, is it protocol to have an officer stay with that individual?
Yes.
And in this case, was somebody assigned to stay with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
At the time you were at the hospital, was that your role?
Yes.
At some point, did someone else from your department come to keep watch?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I believe it was Officer Lepard. I know Officer Broderick was also assisting. I can't recall if he arrived at the hospital as well.
Okay, but you recall Officer Lepard?
Yes.
And once the scene was secured at South Shore Hospital, did you leave?
I did.
And where did you go?
Back to the address in Duxbury.
And that would be 47 Summer Street, correct? I think you might have said 42 at one point.
You're right. Yep. 47, sorry.
And at the residence at 47 Summer Street, did you assist other Duxbury officers in securing the scene upon the arrival of the crime scene services?
Yes.
Were you present when the Massachusetts State Police Detectives Unit executed a search warrant at 47 Summer Street?
I was.
And was that kind of later that night into the early morning hours of the 25th?
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
If you went in the hospital and saw her in the event.
I don't recall those being on her legs, but I'm not 100% sure. But other than that, yes.
Other than that, yes.
Correct.
Defense was going to try to victimize her.
So I would offer that, Your Honor, if I could.
Any objections?
May we approach?
Sure, yeah.
But the bottom line is that you do agree that there was certainly blood on the interior and exterior clothing that she was wearing, right?
That's correct.
You'd also agree, sir, that there was blood in the area from the outside of the backyard directly underneath the window. Is that correct? Would you agree with that if you remember looking at it?
That is correct.
Now, one of the things that was seized were pill bottles. Is that right?
Correct.
Do you know why they were seized?
I do not.
Did you seize any pill bottles?
I do not.
Were you there when the state police seized the pill bottles?
I was.
Do you recall that the pill bottles were seized from, for example, in the kitchen? You opened up a cabinet and they were right on, a bunch of them lined up on a shelf.
I can't attest to that. I wasn't present for that.
Why don't I ask you this? Where did they get the pill bottles from?
You'd have to ask them. I wasn't there when they seized the bottles.
You weren't there when
I wasn't in that room. We were in multiple rooms at a time.
So I may stand corrected. I'm sorry. I thought I asked you if you were there when the state police were seizing the bottles, and I thought you said you were.
I was in the house, correct.
In the house, but you weren't there when they were seizing anything.
Correct.
How about up in the bedroom? Did you go up in the bedroom?
I did.
Did you observe the blood on the floor?
I did.
Was that pretty much the extent of your involvement with this case that night?
That night, yes.
And you really didn't get involved with any further investigation on this matter as far as seizing evidence, except for what you testified to, right?
We did seize, I located a laptop in the hallway closet.
Okay.
And that was, I believe, seized by the state police as well.
Okay.
With Lindsay Clancy, with the defendant, were the medical staff in the emergency department actively treating the wounds to her neck and her wrists?
No, they were not.
And when you came back to the home at 47 Summer Street to secure the scene and wait for crime scene services, nobody went into the house that didn't need to be there before crime scene services, correct?
Correct.
In your experience, is that normal?
Yes.
And so were you present when any of the photographs that were shown to you by defense counsel were taken?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So your testimony today about those photos is your best memory of what the scene looked like at that time?
Correct. Yes.
And as far as your role in the search warrant execution, fair to say there were quite a number of state police, Duxbury officers, as well as crime scene troopers on scene in the house during that. And each person, did they have their own kind of role in what they were doing?
Correct.
And did you kind of stay to your area?
Yes.
And you indicated that you only found a laptop in the first floor closet, correct?
Correct.
And so any of the other manners in which the rooms were searched, you were not a part of?
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
You didn't have to stay to your area as a detective in the Duxbury Police Department, did you?
Correct.
So you were able to go and assist with the search and go into the different rooms and look for potential evidence, right?
That's correct.
And do you remember approximately how many Duxbury police officers were in or about the house, either outside, on the porch, on the deck, in the house, downstairs, upstairs?
I don't.
Would it be more than 10?
No, I wouldn't say more than 10.
How about state police? You remember how many there were of them?
No.
So all told, when you consider that, the sheriff's department wasn't there too, were they, if you recall?
No,
Okay.
they were
Sometimes
not.
they send them to take pictures.
No.
I don't know if they, okay. Would you agree that there were probably more than 10 officers from state police and Duxbury police that would be doing this investigation?
Correct.
All right. A number of police cruisers, and then you have perhaps, just asking, the yellow tape,
Yes.
crime scene, don't pass it and all that.
Correct.
Now, if I was, for example, to show up and pull up in my car and get out, and they're not going to let me wander in the house and look around, are they?
Correct.
I mean, that's just for law enforcement officers only until they clear the scene.
Correct.
Right? That's after they execute their search warrants and find whatever evidence is relevant, in their opinion,
Correct.
that they seize, right?
Yes.
Once the scene is clear, then people are able to go back into the home, right?
Right.
And you don't know, I would imagine, when they cleared the scene.
Correct.
Thank you. That's all we have.
Anything on that? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
How did he arrive at the hospital?
He arrived by fire department ambulance.
And when he arrived, were you given a summary of his injuries by emergency personnel?
Yes.
What did you learn at that time?
I was told that he reportedly had been strangled and he was found without a pulse and not breathing.
And what observations did you make of Dawson yourself?
When he arrived, he had a breathing tube in. They had placed a device into the bone of his leg to give him intravenous fluids and medicines. CPR was in progress. He was not breathing on his own and he had no pulse and was not responding.
And did you observe any trauma to his body?
I believe there were some old appearing bruises on his legs and there was some ruptured blood vessels on his face.
And did you observe anything in the area of his neck?
Not that I can recall.
What did you do to treat Dawson?
We continued CPR. We continued to give him IV fluids. We gave him doses of adrenaline to try and restart his heart. We confirmed that the breathing tube was in the right position. We eventually gave medicines to treat the presumed acid buildup in his blood. We gave him calcium to make sure that his heart would, if it started again, would beat effectively. And that's what we did. And he was not at any point. At one point, towards the end of the resuscitation, I used an ultrasound to determine if his heart was beating effectively, and there was no evidence of that.
Okay. And based on your training and experience, at some point in time, did you make a determination that your efforts weren't going to be successful?
I did, based on the time from when resuscitative efforts started in the field by the paramedics and the time that we put in, and the fact that despite the best resuscitative efforts we could, the fluids, the medicines, the CPR, breathing for him, it did not look like his heart would ever start again.
Approximately how long did you and your team work on Dawson?
I believe we worked on Dawson about 40 minutes in addition to what the paramedics had done previously.
Shit is so just frustrating. It should not have happened.
You indicated that you observed what appeared to be older bruises to his legs, his lower
Yes.
legs, like shin area? That
Yes.
And also had an interosseous device, I think, is that what you said?
Yes, he did.
And that would require inserting a needle or something into the actual shin bone area?
Yes, into the tibia.
Thank you, sir. That's all I have.
All right. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, doctor.
Thank you.
And while you were working that evening, did you treat a patient named Clancy?
Yes, that was my patient.
And do you recall how he arrived at the hospital?
Yes, with the EMS, with CPR ongoing. He, at the time, his heart had stopped and CPR was ongoing, and he was not breathing. He was receiving breaths via bag valve mask ventilation.
And what did you do in terms of treating Callan?
So as soon as he came in, basically we put in a breathing tube, and we were able to get an IV established. The first thing that we do is give a dose of epinephrine, and in this case, you can look directly at the heart with an ultrasound, and his heart started beating after we were able to give that dose. At that point, we continued compressions, continued giving him breaths through the breathing tube. Plymouth Hospital does not have pediatrics or the ability to care for that level of pediatric patients, so we're on the phone with Boston Children's Hospital, making preparations basically to get him to the more definitive care. So at no point did he exhibit any brain function. I'm not like a neurologist, so we are not the definitive person, but in emergency medicine, there's a scale called the Glasgow Coma Scale, which is generally from 3 to 15. There's different variations for pediatrics, but he scored the lowest, which basically is you're in a coma or have no brain response during the entire time that he was in my care.
We are going to break for today. All right? What I was talking about over here is in regards to the schedule where we are.
Dude, day 4, also 3 hours long. Like, this is insane. All right, I'm trying to catch up on this trial. I've been out and about doing a bunch of shit, so trying my hardest. Hit subscribe. Thanks for the support. Peace out, boys.